Welcome back to another episode of Catch Some Soulshine. Today I am joined by my friend, Dr. Rachel Bush, and we have collaborated on a book or two together.
All three.
International best-selling authors ventured out and written this new book all about menopause and how to deal with it. And let me tell you, when we talk about awakening brilliance after life's darkest moments, I've talked to so many women that have been affected by menopause. So this is going to be a really inspiring conversation. But before we get going, I'm just going to ask that you hit that like button, give us a comment, a rating on Apple, Spotify, all that good stuff so that I can keep putting out content. Give a little introduction about yourself, and then we're going to dig right in, okay?
Well, I'm Dr. Rachel Bush, and I'm an artist like Dawn, and I am part of Dawn's beautiful work. I'm part of this is my work, Dawn's Ripple Experiment, which has been really exciting, sharing art with other people and spreading the sunshine. And I love that mission. I've been spreading art that way through medical centers. I'm a nature photographer, and I've been sharing my photography at Dana-Farber, where I was a cancer patient 3 years ago, and at Cornell and Yale New Haven Hospital. I know what it's like to be a patient there and look and feel calmed in my nervous system and my body by looking at beautiful art. And art is so powerful to be able to do that. The reason that I wrote this book on mindful menopause, because I was on the phone with a patient having a session, and the nurse practitioner got on the phone with her and said, "Oh, I just want to tell you your blood work came back and you're in menopause now. I thought you'd want to know. Bye." And she hung up the phone. No discussion with her about perimenopause, about any of the symptoms that she had brought to her, about hot flashes, about changes in her mood. And she was just blown away and completely and utterly shocked. And I thought, this is really not right. And so many physicians just don't take the time or have the time to educate women in the way that they need to be educated. I think there's still a little bit of a taboo, shame that women hold talking about their bodies in some way. Silence around the whole topic of mindful menopause. I thought we need a book on mindful menopause, and we need to talk about the kind of simple things that women can do to make their lives a whole lot more comfortable and take charge, feel like they're more in control. Because for a while it feels like, who's taken over my body? It's kind of like the invasion of the body snatchers in a certain way, in terms of ripping off, scarves and clothes.
I was just going to say, I vividly remember laying in bed, covered up, all snuggled in, and all of a sudden, like this rage ripping off the covers and just drenched with sweat. And my whole bed is wet. And then you can't sleep. Those kind of hot flashes hit you at any time, anywhere. So I did look up some natural remedies to help with those. They help, but there's a lot of mindfulness that I think people can benefit from by just working through that and talking with another person or reading about it. So what are some, not to give away your whole book, but what are some tips that you have given women for this?
For starters, you may not know this, but I'm also a 500-hour yoga instructor. We have found that breathing techniques can be really, really helpful in terms of giving women something else to focus on, something simple like either 7-4-8 breathing, which is inhaling to the count of 7, holding your breath to the count of 4, and then exhaling to the count of 8. Doing that maybe 6 or 7 times, it turns on your parasympathetic nervous system, basically.
I was just gonna say, I was just talking about this. The inhale is not where the magic happens. It's in the exhale where the parasympathetic system is activated. So I always wondered, why do we exhale longer? I mean, I know it makes you feel better, but there's actual research and science behind that. Thank you for bringing that up because, yeah, a simple breathing exercise. In fact, I had to give a speech not too long ago, and I was a little nervous, even though I appear calm, a little bit nervous getting up in front of this crowd of people. And I just sat there and very quietly in my head
Mhm.
did some breathing exercises. And I do in for 4, hold for 2, out for 6. But the key is inhaling longer than you inhale. And
Exactly.
it really did bring my energy system down and brought me to a little state of peace. So that is fascinating.
It's unbelievable. And then I was taking a seminar. I'm just gonna take my earrings out because I wanna show you something else that I learned. Believe it or not, massaging your earlobes and just slowly going up and down your ears is another way of turning on your parasympathetic nervous system. And
Mhm.
it's something that you can do really without anyone, unless you're wearing earrings, of course, but otherwise, if you're not, something you can do in a kind of quiet way. It's very, very relaxing and soothing. The other thing is very, very interesting. If you open your mouth and you say R several times with your mouth open until you yawn, that also turns on your parasympathetic nervous system. There are several ways of going from fight and flight then to rest and digest. Then you're in a whole different physiological state that's much more manageable.
Absolutely. And I was just reading today about the neuroplasticity of the brain and how these neurons just, it was fascinating. They kind of grow in a sense and then they connect. To say that you rewire your brain when you participate in these activities that help you is 100% true. You
Oh,
do.
absolutely 100%. And another thing that I have my patients do is I have them keep a gratitude journal. I just talked with a new patient that I started with last week. She said just beginning that has been so incredibly helpful for her. And I was just so delighted to hear that. I mean, it's usually the feedback that I get. Journaling in particular, not only gratitude journaling, but journaling can be extremely beneficial. Neurographic art is another way of
Mhm.
rewiring the brain. Art in general and entering that state of flow. There's some fabulous new research out about music.
Yes. I had another physician on here and she was talking about the studies out on music. And she said, when you listen to music, they did the brain SPECT imaging and they show the brain lighting up. But when you actually sing, and use your voice, and it doesn't matter if you're good or bad, right?
Yes.
The brain just lights on fire. I think of that when I'm singing in the car on the way to work or on a trip or something.
Even humming, PET scans and stuff, you have a whole different thing going on. And these patients in the hospital require less pain medicine and have a shorter length of stay.
I know you're really into the natural, holistic health and your work with patients for mental health. Do you want to share what really propelled you into awakening brilliance after life's darkest moments? And I really do believe that when you face darkness in your life, whether it be a diagnosis or loss or, whatever, there's two choices. There's maybe three. There's one, you can stay stuck in the moment, or you can choose to move forward out of the darkness with a newfound appreciation and using these techniques to make your life better, or you can move forward still having a little bit of that past. And I think that's where the PTSD comes in for a lot of people. Do you mind sharing a little bit about your journey?
I've had a complicated, long and complicated journey, much like everyone that I know. There have been many periods of darkness. And so I typically just go back to 3 years ago when I was diagnosed with a cancer. And that's a very kind of easy and concrete thing to go to. I've primarily been a single mom, and I raised 3 boys by myself, pretty much. It was bumpy, and caring for aging parents and dealing with the death of parents and being an orphan kind of changes the feeling of what kind of legacy do I want to leave behind? My husband, John, and I have been talking a lot about this whole menopause topic, and that it's something that's difficult for women to understand, let alone men. It has such an impact on couples' relationships. It can get in the way and lead to a lot of unnecessary conflict and miscommunication. Learning about menopause and the impact that it has on intimacy.
So you've really turned pain into purpose. And I think that is such a beautiful legacy that you can leave. I wanted to know, how can people get in touch with you? And I also have, I'm giving away a free chapter in your book.
Oh, that's so great. Yes.
So people can read a little bit about it and then get the book, because it's an incredible opportunity for healing, not just for women, but for men too. Like you explained, men don't understand.
Very
So,
confusing. I mean,
mhm.
if women don't understand what's happening in their own bodies, how could we possibly expect men to understand anything at all about this?
Exactly. Yeah. I was fortunate enough to get that set up. So I will be offering that for people to get that chapter, and then they'll get linked up with you. And it's interesting that you brought up journaling, because that's my thing right now. I'm offering this free download, but then I started thinking, well, I want to do more than that. So I'm doing an experiment, 30 days of prompts with journaling, mindset, art journaling every day. I want to do a pre-test and a post-test, and I will also have that linked in the comments as well. It's free. Why not give it a shot?
Oh, I think that's fabulous. And our other soul sister, Jo Davis, is going to be joining me on October 28th and 29th. We're going to be giving a presentation and going
Awesome.
more in depth about all
Awesome.
topics.
So, if they download that chapter, they'll be
They'll
they'll be
be able
connected to
to.
you, and you can get them that information.
I've been a clinician for about 30 years, so I am the keeper of a lot of knowledge, and always happy to be of service. I mean, I feel like I was put on the planet really to be of service.
I see that in you for sure. Thank you so much for joining me, and thank you for listening. Go out and catch some soulshine. Have a good day.